Hello, welcome back to another episode. Don't forget to subscribe and comment below. In the last scene of Season 8, Clay is seen stealing Justin Falls and Faraday from Mount Rive Priory. In Episode 9, Clay questions Justin and Faraday. A horrible reality is revealed while also examining the bond Edward Flood had with his daughter, Edie Flood. 10 years ago, in a flashback scene, Edward Flood is seen eating breakfast with Edie and Hatch. Edie's son, Clive, is playing outside. Hatch excuses himself and leaves to play with Clive since he is bored. Before he passes away, Edward informs Edie that they still have a lot of work to do, including making plans for her future. Edie believes that, as a result, her father will appoint her as the next CEO of Origen. Drew Finch shows up at the Flood mansion in the present to see Edie on behalf of the CIA. The fact that Finch is visiting also demonstrates how much the CIA wants Origen, and that Finch aims to put Clay in a deep black hole as retaliation for what he did to her. Edie suggests that she wants the public to believe that Origen, under her direction, is the sole owner of quantum fusion, despite Origen being the CIA's partner and not a paid intern as per Drew.
I thought you were going to put me in charge, Dad.
They will roll over you.
Hatch's clearance will continue to be withdrawn in the interim. Drew concurs. The sound of a car pulling up in front of the hotel wakes up Portia, who is staying there with Justin's daughter Molly, in the middle of the night. She wakes up Molly when she realizes something is awry, and the two of them go to their automobile. However, as they prepare to depart, they are encircled by agents wearing black suits. Clay and Lisa are headed to the location where Justin and Faraday are being detained. Lisa informs Clay in the car that she hasn't discovered the algorithm necessary to start the quantum fusion reactor's core. The machine cannot be switched on without it. Additionally, there is no way to interpret the communication they received from the Colombian cave. Interviewing Faraday and Justin is the only way to get the truth. Faraday and Justin are placed in chairs with their wrists bound as Clay and Lisa arrive at the remote warehouse. The two men who work for Clay, Terry and Aaron, are also present. Faraday is questioned about the message from the cave by Clay while he plays it. According to Faraday, it is a directive for the Anthians to be ready to visit Earth. Clay and Lisa are really terrified. While he talks with Faraday, Clay instructs Lisa to take Justin to another room so he may try to get the algorithm from her. The questioning starts. Nothing seemed to be working for Faraday. Thought he was going to return to Anthea up until he got Newton's message. On the other hand, Faraday claims to be aware of everything Clay ever loved. Then Clay brings in an X-ray machine since Faraday was injured by X-rays at the airport a few days after arriving on Earth. Faraday yells in agony as the X-rays strike him, and Clay and Lisa stand and watch. Edie is at the Flood mansion in the meantime, tending to one of her ill horses while remembering the day she and her father were strolling near a cliff 10 years ago. Flood explained to her how she was the complete opposite of what he had anticipated from her. Clive approaches her and asks about her Uncle Hatch, jolting her back to reality. She makes it very plain that Hatch exposed them, which is why he had to be taken out. Then Clive inquires about Edie's paternal grandfather, his own. Clay is making the most of the X-ray equipment by questioning Faraday about Anthea Tech, their arrival time and location, and other topics. Faraday's subconscious, What, reappears in front of him at this point. What serves as a reminder of his two families, one in Anthea and the other here on Earth. Like him, Clay had two families as well. Faraday relays this news to Clay, who is visibly furious. In case Faraday doesn't give up, he calls Justin from the adjacent room and threatens to shoot her. When Clive gets to his Uncle Hatch's house, Hatch is shocked to see Clive's bloody face. He learns about Edward Flood's death from Clive. Everyone is of the opinion that Edward fell from the cliff. His death was seen by Clive. The cause of Edward Flood's death was not a cliff fall. His daughter Edie murdered him. Hatch looks at Clive with a look of utter incredulity. Newton plans to utilize a ship, which is already present someplace on Earth, to transport the Anthians to Earth. To safeguard Justin, Faraday instructs Clay to do this. Clay understands that the ship's power plant is the fusion reactor. Lisa calls Justin back to the other room and asks her for any information so that Clay won't have to murder Faraday or her.
Utterly, with 2 more of those blasts.
Terry sits in front of Justin in the other room and threatens to burn her eyes out with his cigarette if she doesn't divulge the formula. He prepares to fire it when he sees a can of turpentine oil lying nearby. The spark from the match he just struck ignites as Justin spits a mouthful of oil at him, engulfing him in flames. A scream is audible to Faraday. There was a gunshot. Aaron was murdered by Lisa. The sixth inquiry, which Clay asks, concerns what Finch stole from him. He cries, "She took away my name," though he knows the solution. He is about to pull the trigger while pointing the gun towards Faraday when a bullet pierces his lips. Spencer Clay passed away. Lisa refers to Faraday as an unknown source as Justin frees her from her binding. After some time, a convoy pulls up to the warehouse, and Mr. Henning Kahn, Pressman Thorne's PA, emerges from one of the vehicles. To keep them informed about the situation, Lisa has been working for them the entire time. Her daughter and Portia, who are both secure in their London home, can speak with Justin. Josiah is also still alive, although his dystonia has returned. Kahn assures Justin that both Hatch and her family will be protected. Thorne Oil will also cover her family's costs in perpetuity. The next stop is a cave, where Pressman Thorne is waiting for Justin and Faraday. Both of them enter and discover a large number of monks seated and in meditation. A man in a suit then approaches them while approaching the monks from among them. It's Thomas Newton. Pressman Thorne appears to be Thomas Newton in this way. As we have all learned, this indicates that Newton has the CIA in his back pocket. Hatch recently learned that his sister had murdered their father, so he'll speak with Edie about it. Newton's ship will likely be shown in the last episode as well. Or does he have another quantum fusion strategy? Thanks for watching, comment below, and don't forget to subscribe.